our environment light. So if you go up to create, go to lights, V-Ray, and we'll add a V-Ray sun. I'm going to drag this onto the viewport. The first click will be our light source, and the second will be the target. So just click and drag this like so, and say yes to adding a V-Ray sky environment map. So you can just adjust this, like so. I'm having a pretty high sun. That looks okay. So go to your modify panel, and in the sun parameters, the only option I'm going to edit is the photon emit radius. This is the area in which the photons will be emitted from the light source. So I'm just going to increase this to around 2000, like so, or something like that. So if you open up your material editor, and also your environment, so rendering environment, we're just going to drag our environment map into the material editor. Just ensure it's an instance, as any changes we make over here in the material editor will update in the environment. So what we're going to do here is just turn on specify sun node, and beside sunlight, which says none, select this and select the sun. This is just linked to our V-Ray sky to the V-Ray sun. All other parameters, just keep them as default. Next, what we'll do is add some V-Ray lights to our windows. So if you isolate our walls, and if you go to the left viewport, it's hard to see where the windows actually are. So what we would do here is just add another edit poly onto this at the top. We can delete it later, but just add an edit poly. Under selection, go to edge, and we'll just bridge these across, like so. So just do this with all the windows. Once you've done that, select polygon, just select these faces and we'll detach them. If we just select this piece of geometry and isolate it, if we go to a left viewport now, we can see the exact size of the window. So we'll just go back to our V-Ray lights, select V-Ray light this time, ensure type is plain, and we can just drag this around the piece of geometry. It doesn't need to be exact. We'll just drag it over and delete the geometry. You can see it's just facing outwards, so what we'll do is just select the light, just go to mirror, and mirror it on the x-axis until it's facing inwards. Under your modifier panel, just go to the parameters of the light, and what we're going to do is just turn on skylight portal. This will deactivate our multiplier and colour temperature, and it'll just take our environment light and focus it through this window. So if we add these to all the windows, it just means the environment light and its multiplier will be focused into the inside space here. So once you've completed all the windows, we can just add some V-Ray lights to the interior. So we'll just select the side table lamp, and in your top viewport, just go back to your V-Ray lights, and this time change the type to sphere. Just drag this onto the viewport. So just move it into position, like so. Go back to your modify panel. I'll just turn off skylight portal. The radius I'm just going to alter, just something similar to a bulb size, so we'll do 30. And in your intensity section, just make sure luminous power is selected. We can use real life values here. So we use 1850 for the multiplier. That's similar to a standard halogen bulb. And under temperature, we'll just make this around 3700. Just a slight hint of orange in it. If you scroll down, we'll just leave all these parameters the same. You can increase your subdivisions, so we'll just leave them at 18 for now. So we can just copy this light to our lamp at the console table, so just shift and drag it over. we'll just make it a copy. Again, we'll just position it like so. We made that copy because we're going to edit the settings here. This time we want to make it invisible. If you don't make it invisible, the camera will just see a white sphere just sitting here, so we'll just make it invisible. And we'll leave the rest of the settings the same. So I'm just going around adding lights to real life light sources. So you want to add some lights to the pendant, into the kitchen. If there was spotlights on the ceiling, for example, you just go ahead and add these and just keep them real life values. You can find some real life values on the internet for different types of bulbs, so it's easy enough the way we've set up the file to just go in and copy these values.